So I'll add the music in post, and it's gonna have the same energy.
Oh, the intro music?
Yeah, and no one's gonna notice anything different.
What?
They're not gonna listen to it, and they're not gonna think.
Why don't we do an a cappella version?
Falling apart.
Oh my gosh!
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
You don't have the music loaded?
I got nothing right now. I just got off the phone with my friend because I had 20 minutes to wish him a happy birthday. So
happy birthday, Winslow.
I'm gonna add the music in post. Nothing's gonna be different. It's gonna have the same energy. And here we go. From the ashes of videos.
From the ashes of that weird section of your grocery store that used to rent videos.
What?
Remember those?
No.
It's scraping the vault. I'm Jimmy.
That's perfect.
Is that where they put the Starbucks?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
You just heard Audrey.
That's me. I'm Audrey.
She knows Starbucks.
I worked there for a few years.
Oh, did you? You have to fill us in here in a minute before we introduce Dan.
Hi.
Well,
okay, tell us about Starbucks.
Okay. Sorry, I interrupted Dan's introduction. I was just excited because I remembered. I don't know. I made coffee for a friend recently who came over for some coffee.
At Starbucks.
Doesn't matter. The context isn't important, but what I remembered is how much I like making coffee for people. And it was, I don't know, I was just re-inspired.
Awesome. So we're here to talk about the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
And because we already gave all the history backstory of 2002 happenings.
I'm just going to lay it out.
Right,
Normally, I have things ready.
Yes.
And I take great pride in doing that. Usually, the shtick. I have a song at the end. I don't even have that. My things. I work in the education industry. It's April. You can figure out what's going on.
Call it the education industry.
I know. I love it too.
It's a business.
That's really
the business
funny.
of educating people.
I operate in repair education, which is actually a pretty accurate description. So yes, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm going to try to add
wonderful, delicious things in post.
But let's just call me a guest today. How about that?
Joining us from the Supreme Resort.
Yes. Ooh, I love the differences in the studios here.
Yeah. So the Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. Did you guys catch the subtitle?
Is it Electric Boogaloo?
So close.
Hold on. Let me guess.
Now, on Disney Plus, it does not say the subtitle. It is
Hunchback
of Notre Dame 2.
Oh, okay. So
It's only on IMDb where I found.
Oh God!
Just to confirm some voice actors that I had.
Hold on, let me think.
An Ordinary Miracle.
Oh God,
it's a good one.
Okay.
Oh, that is
not it. It's not it.
It should be.
Let's see.
Quasi's Day Out.
Well, he had a day out in the first one.
Quasimodo's Day Off, like a Ferris Bueller kind of.
Yeah. But if you think about
more formed,
because Quasimodo means
half
partially formed back.
Yes.
Oh.
That's the French translation. Oh, there'll be some French translations in this episode.
Oh, bonjour.
I'll tell you what. But Audrey.
Je m'appelle Audrey.
Yeah. Oh, we shouldn't have done that. Damn, we missed an opportunity.
Okay.
It should be called An Ordinary Miracle. It absolutely should be. Or now that you say that, that's what it should be, because that's, a theme.
But that's not a title that would sell, you think?
But better than Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, The Secret of the Bell.
What?
That's what it's called. The Secret of the Bell.
Okay.
And I have theories about The Secret of the Bell that we'll get into.
I'm angrier at this.
Yeah,
movie than
it's smart that they dropped the subtitle from Disney Plus, because I don't think it really,
because it just doesn't make sense.
No, not at all.
But I do have a theory as to why they called it that, which we'll get into. But before we do, this movie...
Do we have any ideas? Do we have any predictions of what it was going to be?
I had none.
I do.
Okay,
ahead,
yours are
please,
usually better than mine, so I'll go first.
Yes.
Quasimodo. First of all, take into account my mental state and the cracks are showing. Everything's falling apart. Like
you look all right to me.
I feel a mess. But thank you. So. And I haven't even read these until last night when I watched the movie, and it really says a lot. Quasimodo finds love. There's a kid version of Quasimodo. It tries real hard to not be about disability and not exploitive, but it will fail.
That speaks to the education industry you're in.
Oh, interesting. I just sort of went down a tunnel in my brain. It's just like,
did you have a bell on a boat when you were doing that? When you were going down that tunnel?
A bell on a boat? Hold on, let me get my Foley.
Oh, hey, spoilers.
Ding, ding, ding. My seagull. Anchors away. Sploosh.
Fathoms below.
They'll never find this body in the ocean.
I splashed
do we need to do, rain?
Water. Yeah. Okay, what was I? Oh yeah. I was just wondering. It's a cartoon, and how
it is a cartoon.
Yeah. So the idea of exploitation. I guess I had up until this point only imagined it for physical, tangible things, but exploitation can exist in a animated form because you're exploiting an image or a concept, but not. I don't know. Do you guys follow me now?
I just like how you're rubbing your eyebrows as
you're rubbing your eyebrows
as you're coming. It's
That's
like
what I'm following.
It's like the eyebrows are divining the answer for you.
Kind of. I think it's called stimming when you like think and you. I don't know. I have like a tiny bit of hair on the back of my knuckles, and sometimes when I'm like lost in thought, like I feel, like when I was a kid, I had a baby blanket that I would rub the fabric between my fingers, and it just helps, like that feedback helps you like.
Well, I understand that.
The feedback loop.
Yeah. Where was I? Who are we?
What did you think this movie was about?
Oh, that's right.
So I think I want to hop on this moment and say we've been doing this show for a year.
Oh, that's right. 1 year anniversary. Happy anniversary, everybody.
Yeah, and
we're a 12-month-old.
I think we're all in some level of mental decline because of it.
That's right. And because we have recorded virtually every episode. Well, every episode under a COVID-19 world. We did a couple episodes, a teaser and a full episode live in person, 20 feet apart from each other outside at a zoo.
God, that was special. I'm going to re-listen. I'm going to listen to that episode later.
Yeah, we should. And so for those of you listening saying, a year, wait a minute. The first episode I heard...
Japanese Friendship Garden.
That's right. And the first episode I heard was in June of 2020. For those of you who are saying that, we started this show as a show called Cash Grab, and it was released under the Supreme Resort label. So go back and check those episodes out. They're a lot of fun. But we've been doing this for a year, and we're going to do it live again in person in July.
Mm-hmm. And Huelhauser might be there.
It's going to be great.
And Kathy Lee.
Sure. And Sultan. Why not? They're all different. They're all different impressions.
It's going to be a real big gathering.
So Audrey,
also,
I'm sorry, Jimmy.
If you listen to the show and you don't listen to the Supreme Resort, please tune in at least for a part of it, because recently, Audrey, for your information,
yes,
we had a contest. It was a March Madness style contest.
Snackdown, Smackdown.
Mm-hmm. And the winner of the Snackdown, Smackdown gets a cameo from Steve Guttenberg. And we did it.
It actually happened.
And it actually happened.
Hold on, this name certainly rings a bell.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
Yeah. And
Could he be a bellhop? An elevator?
Close.
Mm-hmm.
There's an elevator involved.
Elevators.
Yeah.
There's robots. There are cocoons. There's a baby, and there's 2 other men.
Cocoons?
Cocoons. He was and police and academies.
Are you talking about the movie Prometheus?
No, the movie Cocoon.
Okay.
I'm imagining Steve Guttenberg in Prometheus, and I want to see this movie.
And he was in The Tower of Terror.
Yes.
Oh, yes, that's right. Have we seen that
Sorry,
movie?
Steve.
Yeah, we have.
We watched it. We talked about it. We had a whole Halloween episode. Do you listen to this show?
Who?
I'm trying to find it. But there's a cameo. Here we go.
Of course I don't
Cameo.
listen to this show while I'm working, just so I can relive the highlights. Like that one time we made Jimmy upset.
Which
Where
one?
I cried.
All right, you caught me red-handed. I've never listened to this show.
Obviously cares about you a lot. He said that you won the TSR Smackdown. Jimmy, Eric, Dan, and Christy, they want to congratulate you on all your hard work.
Is he at the
You're
gym?
a great friend. And,
Yes, at the
great
gym.
producer. And you love the Grimace from McDonald's. So, hey, man, keep being safe like this. And
You put a mask on.
get to the gym like I am, I guess.
I guess.
And I want to congratulate you. You're obviously in the gym a lot. All right, man. Congratulations, David.
Oh,
James cares about you.
God, I can't.
You're obviously in the gym a lot. Like, what is that about?
Well,
Yeah.
why? Hold on, guys. Here's why I will never, ever pay for a cameo. Like, how do I know this person isn't going to, like, sit down with a nice microphone and, like, some candles and, like, be like, thanks so much for your patronage. Hello, so-and-so. Versus, like, some guy who's just, like, taking a shit, like, hey, Grant, nice to see you.
Well, there's just no way to know.
I think he's a Steve Guttenberg, and sometimes he's having lunch with his mom. Sometimes he's at the gym.
But I want you to know, Audrey
Yes.
and listener, that I submitted that cameo request at 11:50 a.m. I got the cameo video at 11:55 a.m.
Holy guys.
Yeah.
I
if you-
appreciate that kind of promptness.
If
I
you
take everything
also-
back. Whatever I said. Steve
If you-
Guttenberg, your cameo's perfect and I love you.
If
is
If
perfect.
you also want that quick turnaround in your life, you know what to do. Go to Cameo, visit Steve Guttenberg, and for a reasonable price, he will give a greeting to anyone you want. Maybe he'll be at the gym. Maybe he'll be having lunch with his mom. Maybe he'll
That's
be, killing somebody. Who knows?
I don't know, but it was perfect. I wouldn't have changed a thing. It was awesome, and thank you, Mr. G, the Goot, for surprising David. Congratulations, David, on your contest win.
Steve
We're gonna do it
Gut
again next year.
working on his glutes.
Oh, Glutenberg.
Working on being Steve Glutenberg.
All right, so here's what Hunchback of Notre Dame 2 was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Hangover. Or
God.
Oh no.
The Hunchover. Okay, so stay with me. The three gargoyles plus Esmeralda and her baby misplaced Quasimodo on the top of a different cathedral, and they gotta find him and bring him back before his quinceanera. Hijinks ensue, obviously.
Obviously.
I would watch that movie.
I mean,
Maybe that's what the third one's
you'd
about.
have the three gargoyles actually vibing a little bit more than they do in this movie. Spoiler alert, because we're going to get into it. But, like, I don't know. The three gargoyles have so much potential. So.
Yeah. I think, so assuming I can find a trailer, purchase a trailer, make a trailer myself, which I do for every one of these, I'm going to put that here.
Oh.
And that was the trailer.
Oh yeah, that's really interesting.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or how about this?
Well,
I can play the trailer and we can pretend to react to it.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
That works.
Let's assume it's 45 seconds is normal?
Or
for a trailer, 30?
you could fool us completely and play a totally different trailer, and we could react to that trailer, and then you could overlay.
Now I wasn't going to do that, but now I need to. So, okay, here we go. Hey Google, Okay, so it's starting. Ooh,
you just
I really like
act
how they
like a
fade,
human boy
fade
for
into
1 minute
the
here?
cathedral.
Oh, yeah.
Look at me like
Whoa.
a person.
I love that classic Disney
You
video.
An
can't do it for more than a
explosion.
few seconds. Look at
What?
me like a
Yeah,
human boy.
of color.
The only thing
The world
worse
is a
than
carousel
being
of color,
10-year-old
after all.
boy.
Oh, hey, he's from the movie.
And that person's from the movie too.
Oh my god, he just put sunglasses on and he's walking kind of like angrily. Cool.
Ooh.
He's late for his quinceanera.
Oh, I think that's a new character.
Are they both smoking cigarettes?
Marcus Young. And Charles
Disney
Grodin.
movie?
Did Quasimodo just stab a guy?
Oh, it's about to get real because he's dug up his safe of guns.
And this is definitely a new song that they're playing.
Aw, the birds are flying in a heart-shaped pattern in the sky.
Oh, honey,
Wait a minute, it was all a dream
This boy and his
And that's the
cereal.
Okay, so I need to talk about this because I didn't give my theory, and I rarely do, about what I thought this movie was going to be about, because I have a very serious history with this film.
Oh.
I think that it is the best musical of the Disney Renaissance.
Oh, wow.
The way they do the music, and not this particular one, but the original Hunchback, right?
I
Came
think it's actually the most musical it's the most stagey of the musicals, and I agree with
Right.
you. I really enjoyed this movie, and this was when it came out. You know, I mean, Jimmy, you can attest to how completely pretentious and up my own ass I was at that time.
Sure.
And
You want me to go into detail? I have a notebook.
I mean,
right here.
I'd love to hear.
Oh, where do we start? And I remember being in this place where, like, well, first of all, Disney was kind of losing the plot a little bit, as my good friend Gordon Ramsay says. But this came
I
out.
thought you guys lost touch.
Gordon Ramsay.
Who? He's
a British cook.
he has a cameo.
Does
No,
he?
no, God, that'd be wonderful. Calling people donkeys and stuff. It's your birthday, you donkey.
Soon.
Yeah.
He's not too far off.
And I remember when it came out, and I was like, okay, I don't like that they changed the ending, but like, this is a legitimately like well-made like piece of art here. Like the Hell's Fire segment, I'm just like,
Oh,
whoa,
yeah.
this is straight out of the wall. Like,
Heaven's Light into Hellfire.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
it's such a well structured. It's got a lot of like, I guess, legitimacy behind it. It's not like
Right.
dun, 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 which is totally what I feared.
Except the Jason Alexander part. But
Well,
that's fine.
yeah. I mean, you need
I
something
think
to put
he
in the Happy Meal.
actually says at one point in the movie, dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I mean, basically.
I think maybe Jason Alexander is a Scraping the Vault all-star?
And that's where I put the sound. There it goes.
Yes, he is. Yeah. So Dan, go ahead, finish.
That's pretty much it.
All right,
yeah.
great. So the thing for me is I worked at Disneyland in the summer of 1997, and it was just for that summer. I grew up going to Disneyland every year. It was a very special place. I always just only wanted to work at Disneyland. And that summer was the festival of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, back where the Big Ranch barbecue is, you know, that whole festival arena. And it was just after high school. I just graduated high school, and I met my first like love of my life, like my adult grown up love.
Oh,
She was in the show, and I was like guest control, and we met, and it was one of those like we both locked eyes, love at first sight. Like the day we met is still my PIN number for my bank account.
Oh my.
Like, the date that we met, right? And like it was just such a transformative relationship. It was short lived, but you know, it's just that first love that you have outside of high school and in real world. And then so I worked that show, the Hunchback show, all the time, and I had a really strong affiliation with that. And then they sent me to Disneyland Paris to work for a couple of months. So I'm 18 years old. I'm living in France. Like I've never been outside of the country in my life, and I'm living in Paris.
Cool.
at Disneyland Paris. I'm living at Disneyland Paris, and they have the Hunchback parade. They've got like bells in the hub and gargoyles, and the castle is decorated like Hunchback. So this movie, I had so much emotional connection to. So, and I think it's the best musical unrelated to any of that. So this is a very special movie for me. So number one, this is the first Scraping the Vault movie that I've been excited to watch. Like I couldn't wait to watch it. And I have the least amount of notes of this movie because I was enjoying watching the movie.
Oh, really?
Because I wanted to know what happened next.
You were back in that world.
I was, yeah. And it very quickly died
I'm
out
so
for me.
sorry, Jimmy.
And since that time, recently, I've discovered someone called Lindsay Ellis, who is a YouTuber, and she did a whole video about the Hunchback and the original book, Notre Dame de Paris, from Victor Hugo. And basically every titled character in that book dies.
Oh, no.
And I didn't realize all of this when I watched the Disney movie. So watching this movie where not only did nobody die except Frollo in the first movie, but that all these characters who were dead in the book are like living their lives now. But anyway, I highly recommend that YouTube video from Lindsay Ellis. I think it's entitled Notre Dame de Paris or
all
the History of Hunchback.
all of Lindsay Ellis's stuff is fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
just
phenomenal.
go ahead and click the link in the comments below for the link to the YouTube video. Like, comment, and
but,
subscribe,
one of the
ring the
things-
bell.
But honestly,
Ring the
if
bell.
you do go there and watch her videos and are compelled naturally to comment on her stuff, mention that you got there through us, because
There you go.
we would love to, if she's interested, we would love to have her
Did she
on
do?
I
anything.
think she's our
Oh,
people.
absolutely.
Did she also do stuff on cats? Because I remember
Yes.
talking. Okay,
Yes,
all
she
right.
did.
And her
Yeah.
video on,
That's how I got introduced to
I
Lindsay
thought
Ellis, was
her
because
name
of the
ringed a
Cats
bell.
episode.
and her video on Rent is like my everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But anyway, the one thing that the one takeaway I had was that the Victor Hugo wrote that book about the cathedral as basically a marketing piece to get people to pay attention to the cathedral, which was, it had been 500 years
How
old
do
by
you
the time he
forget
wrote
to
the
pay
book.
attention to a cathedral? Hold on, let me nerd out real
Why?
quick. I love cathedrals.
Right.
Like, how freaking cool is that? Architecture, like, oh my god, they built them out of rocks. And have you ever read this book, Pillars of the Earth? It's all about building a cathedral. I recommend
I haven't,
it.
but I have heard the Starship song, "We Built This City on Rock and Roll."
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, not just
That's-
rocks, rock and roll.
Little known fact, that song is about Notre Dame. Feel free to fact check me on that.
And if you want
All
to
right,
go
so-
to the video for "We Built the City on Rock and Roll," leave a comment saying, "I love
Click
this.
on the link below.
I love this. That this song is about Notre Dame. I got here through Scraping the Vault."
You'll need to complete a
There you
cover
go.
letter and submit a resume, and then we'll give you a link to our website where you'll complete the application. And in 6 to 8 business weeks, we'll send you the link to the
I'm
video.
glad you said business weeks because that makes a big difference. All right, let's talk about this movie. Okay.
Yeah.
So and then we can get into reaction and we'll do the rankings.
Yeah.
So we hear the preamble of bells as we see the Disney logo, the classic Walt Disney, the Sleeping Beauty Castle logo. And we open in the skies high above Paris as we follow 2 pigeons across the landscape and soaring up to the bells of the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Always start with an
We see-
establishing shot. It's not the most
Establishing shot.
inventive, but it'll get you right
No.
where you need to be.
It does work.
That's right.
And speaking of establishing, I like how this establishing shot establishes that. It establishes something by starting off with really pretty good character design and animation, and then as it goes into town, the quality control gets
Yeah,
dropped.
it sure does. Yeah. It gets
This
real
is-
sloppy. There's no secret bells in
This
the
is
street.
not a good-looking Disney sequel. I'll just
No,
put it
it's
right
not.
up at the front here.
Yeah, it's up there with your Cinderella 2s and your...
No.
what did it remind
Cinderella
me of
2
the
was
most?
much better than this. This was like closer to Belle's Magical World, but
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit
you're
better.
but better voice.
It was like Aladdin and the Jafar's Revenge.
Return of Jafar.
Return of Jafar.
Right.
It was that level.
Which was the first of these films that you can listen to on the Cash Grab.
I got some hot takes in that direction, but yeah. No,
Right,
well,
right.
we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah.
Okay. So we see the title card.
Beautiful font.
As we see up the skirt of one of the bells.
Oh
which
la
is
la.
evidently it's all covered with ornate crystals and skylights and stuff, which we've never seen before. This is not in canon from the 1st movie. And then we cut to the street level with another, by the way, Hunchback of Notre Dame 2 title card, no subtitle.
Right.
And it's purple.
The secret.
Well, and the
bell.
jewels and emeralds and diamonds and stuff, they glimmer without a light source.
That is true. And the light comes through holes in the top without a light source. So that's the secret of the bell. It's magic. And we'll talk about more about that.
It defies the laws of physics.
Yes, sure.
And I know that there's a opening like exposition song at the beginning. Can you convince me that it's not called "You're Gonna Watch a Movie Now"?
Well, it's mirroring what happened in the first movie. It's Clopin, on the street, and that's the Bells of Notre Dame is a phenomenal song, which that guy's got a vocal range like a mug. The bells of Notre Dame, and he goes like 18 octaves up. So that's what you're hoping for, but that's not what we get.
Not one bit.
The folks are getting ready.
I forgot to mention. This bell would have looked dank AF if it were CGI. But it's not.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even notice that.
That's a good point, actually.
The one
Good
case
observation.
where I wish it was made of CGI.
So the town folk are getting ready for their new favorite festival. It's no longer the Festival of Fools. It is now the Jour d'Amour, which is the Day of Love. And we see all our friends again, guys. There's Clopin, the Quasimodo, the goat.
Bah.
Phoebus is there, who seems revolted to see a couple kissing on the altar. And then Esmeralda takes Phoebus into a kiss, and Tom Hulse is back, and Jason Alexander, and all the other gargoyles. Like, all the voice talent is back. Everyone is back.
that was definitely a plus for this movie, is having the OG cast.
Yep.
I don't think the what's his name? The jester? I don't think his French accent's that good, but whatever. I did a really good French accent in like high school, because I played Madame Dubonnet in the musical The Boyfriend. Just a little humble brag.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, this is an arts podcast.
It is.
So it's a terrible musical, and it's pretty pointless, but whatever.
Well, a lot of middle schools like that.
I'm kind of cool.
That's true.
Where's Asher when I need him?
Right.
He's taking a nap.
Damn it.
But at the time in middle school, you guys were like convinced you're all going to Broadway.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because it was that good.
Yeah, I was invited as part of the Washington Thespian Alliance to go to the Fifth Avenue Theater to accept an award for Best Ensemble. So
Hello.
you're like kind of a big deal.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, so everybody's back up in the tower. We cut to the tower, and the gargoyles are doing their banter thing, and Quasimodo comes up to join them.
Yeah.
It's time to get ready for the festival now.
Mm-hmm.
This is the point in the movie, and I realize how early on in this movie this is. First of all, they really may as well just start these movies with "You're Gonna Watch a Movie Now," the song.
You're gonna watch. We have to write this song because it's just too good. That's such a beautiful premise.
Here's the thing: is I think this is changing for me. I think this might be turning into like an endurance challenge for me, which I should have known, knowing myself, that when we started doing this podcast, that at some point I would just start to like break as a person. And the movies are all merging together now.
Yeah.
They're all like, it's basically like,
hey, have you heard about love? Because it's a concept we're going to force down your throat all the time.
like this. It's like pink slime from McDonald's that they just mold into different characters.
Do you remember the third act of Cinderella 2 with Anastasia
gets
and
kicked
how
by a horse?
She didn't think she could ever get kicked by a horse and didn't think she'd ever find love? This is a 90-minute version.
Oh, right. I forgot about that movie because it was terrible.
Someone falling in love and finding love and going after love is the plot of the movie.
Yeah. Don't play the game. Just don't fall for it. You know what? Disney is trying to sell you something and you're going to keep buying it, but you don't have to play this game. You just walk away. Just stop watching their You're a complete and whole person without your soulmate. How about that?
That's true. You don't need someone else to validate you. And I think that this movie takes a shift in the right direction. It started with Anastasia, where beauty is not external. It's who you are inside. And the bell is a metaphor for Quasimodo. And I think it's kind of borderline brilliant.
How did I miss that until just now? Of course it is. It's like...
It's plain on the outside, but all the beauty.
I agree with you.
That's actually
at the same
pretty
time
smart of them to do.
At the same time, if he would have met and fallen in love with a blind girl, how surprised would you have been?
Not at all. And I'm glad he didn't. And they didn't shove any of the physical stuff.
They
in
handled
their
it.
face
They
so
handled
much.
it well.
But yeah, you're right. They would have done that. They would have done a blind.
It's just
like they did with what is that? With the Fantastic Four with the thing.
Right. Yeah.
I saw that movie. It was a long time ago, but
it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he says, get out the marble and polish the bells. I'm not sure.
He's talking about
what the marble.
He's talking about jacking off.
Got it. Okay.
Get out the marble.
Just then, a little blonde boy comes to play with Quasimodo in the bell
Asher?
tower. It was random. It wasn't Asher.
He's sleeping off the fruit, the purple stuff.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'll stop mentioning this really cool kid that I definitely want to meet one day.
Real kid.
I know what you're trying to do.
So it turns out this little blonde boy is Phoebus and Esmeralda's kid.
He definitely got of the blonde hair, blue-eyed jeans. He doesn't look anything like his mother.
Yeah, well,
nothing like his. He's a little. We
have a certain audience that we don't want to upset. That I've certainly learned a lot about during.
We're gonna upset people. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. People are gonna get upset no matter what you do. So you just gotta do.
That's true.
You
do you,
and that's the secret of the bell, bitches.
You do you.
Ding
and his name that comes up later. In a name rivaling Asher, his name is Zephyr.
That's super millennial. Like
yeah. And so Esmeralda says, slow down, Zephyr. And it was a cute response. He's up on Quasi's shoulder and he's like, okay, Mom.
Okay, so just a little anachronism or something here. How do these French ass plebeians know about Spanish bullfighting?
Yeah, that's a good point, because that's how they're
they're doing like a
Toro.
You know,
yeah, the little.
It's Europe.
Yeah,
they know it because we know it.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and they're right next to Spain.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I wasn't there, so I wouldn't know. I'd probably be dead of some infection from I don't know. I cut my finger. My cat scratched me the other day. I should clip her nails.
Cat scratch fever.
But yeah, no.
Do you have the cat scratch fever?
I don't know. What are the symptoms?
Okay.
Should I get tested?
Cat scratch fever. I don't know. Anyway, this the young child is played by one Haley Joel.
No way.
Osment.
God.
No way.
It was Haley Joel.
He sounded very perfect kid. You know,
that's a Haley Joel.
Yeah.
HJO.
Yeah, I forgot about that time that the world was coming up for reasons for him to be in stuff.
He was in a lot.
He's in everything. He's Forrest Gump's kid.
Yeah.
He sees dead people.
Now, so
he's in Entourage.
When you mentioned earlier, Jimmy, what you thought this movie was going to be, I definitely went to Forrest Gump and the whole the scene where Forrest Gump is talking to Jenny's not her grave. Maybe it's her grave. But yeah, he's just like, he's so smart. He's not at all like me. So like I kind of pictured like, oh, is Quasimodo's son in your concept for Hunchback 2 would have the child been disfigured the way Quasi is or just normal?
Well, that's what I think the third one.
Oh, there's a third one? Okay.
No.
Oh, got it. Okay. Okay, got it.
Okay, so they're all standing there admiring La Fidèle, which is that big bell with all the jewels inside. And Esmeralda and Phoebus decide that they are going to yell each other's names at the festival and declare their love for each other.
Whatever you do,
and
don't yell your ex's name at the festival.
That's right. Been there, done that.
I haven't, but it's a joke that everyone might understand. So I'm pandering. I'm sorry. I am. All right, go ahead.
So Quasi's looking at them longingly, and then Zephyr asks whose name Quasimodo's going to yell tomorrow, or who's going to yell his name, and Quasimodo doesn't think anyone could love him ever. Why not? Asks Zephyr. And then Esmeralda comes in. They're hanging out inside the bell.
Which is
inside
perfectly lit. Everybody's skin looks aglow.
Yeah.
Yes. And so she comes in consolingly and says, it takes more than looking, she says. It's what's inside. Someday you'll be ready, and when you are, you'll find her. And then I think we have another part of the magic of the bell, is that when his face goes into one of the jewels, his little deformed face gets normal. It's like an inverse Funhouse mirror.
Yeah, which I don't know. I was confused by that because self-acceptance is about, my opinion is that self-acceptance is taking in realistically who you are as a person and how you appear and appreciating it and coming to terms with it. So like to present his idealized self, which we all as viewers assume is symmetrical and like I thought that was a self-acceptance.
That's the magic of the bell, Audrey. That's what I'm saying is what he's seeing is not, he's seeing what's on the inside. This is what he looks like on the inside.
Yeah.
And I say that because later on, a future named character will look and see what she sees on the inside.
Is it Mrs. Potts?
So I think that's the magic of the mirror.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, Quasimodo is doubtful that anyone will ever love him.
Been there.
And then we and then we cut to a traveling circus that has come to town for the Festival d'Amour, which is love fest. It's called the Cirque du Sarouche. The Cirque du Sarouche has come to town.
Rusted.
B-52s from Athens, Georgia. The magician Sarouche shows off some tricks and he teases the circus. The elephant that's coming down looks like the model for Abu as an elephant from Aladdin. And then the rabbit that he pulls out of the hat. I know. And the rabbit that he pulls out of the hat is totally Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh.
Huh.
I think I was taking notes at that point. So
and this character is if Vincent Price played Gaston as a goth.
He looks like Frollo.
He does look like Frollo.
He looks like Frollo.
But character-wise, it's Michael McKean is totally doing Vincent Price.
Totally, and it is Michael McKean, is this magician. Anyway, so as he's promoting the circus, his final trick is the disappearing, reappearing woman in a box thing, and it fails. The woman's not there. So he plays it off and disappears. And then we cut backstage. The magician now sounds like super evil, and he demands, "Where is Madeline?" And what they do in this movie all the time when they reference a character, immediately we cut to that character.
That's just good conventions in movies.
That's just good storytelling.
And foreshadowing. And also, he's wearing a sick-ass cape with the stripes. I love that. Oh, he looks cool. He's oily. He's shaping up to be a good villain in my book.
Yeah.
But we don't know he's a villain yet.
I mean, obviously you could tell.
I mean, there's that Yes,
He gets angry.
I'm gonna be I'm a magical magician.
He has male anger, male anger and aggression directed towards a female character. Boom, villain.
That's true.
Yeah.
And we cut to Madeline, who is not in the box. She's in a circus tent performing her high wire trick to herself. She fails, and she's greeted in the shadows by Charouche, who is, like Dan said, Michael McKean. He reveals the reason they are there. He wants to steal La Fidèle, which is that jewel-encrusted bell we talked about. It's perfectly lit. It will make him rich. Yep. Madeline, played by Jennifer Love Hewitt, doesn't understand why they always steal.
Jennifer Love Hewitt?
He tells her. Yeah, it's JL.
Get out of town. I thought she sounded good.
And the final song is her in the final credits.
Wow.
He tells her she has to go up to the bell tower and seduce the bell ringer, and he'll tell her everything they need to know to steal the bell.
Yeah,
Madeline is reluctant.
You detach the bell,
but goes up anyway. Well, hold on. Yeah. So go ahead, Dan. What?
Well, so here's the thing about this plot point is that, first of all, it's a giant, heavy bell.
It's a huge ass bell. This is Quasimodo's entire body and probably 8 feet.
What could it weigh? Like
huge bell.
16 pounds?
A metric
It's
ton.
like, here's this guy. He's going to go just zoink, swipey, just
I mean, it's made of,
well,
guys, we know it's made of light because it's lit from within. So it's weightless.
And he's a magician, Dan.
Physics do not
Physics don't
apply.
matter.
I was going to bring this up later, but here's another.
Yeah, let's bring it up later. Because that's spoilers. So Madeline's reluctant, but she goes up to the tower
Just put that
anyway.
in the parking lot, okay? We're going to put it in a parking lot and visit it later.
Yeah, let's park it. Let's park it over here now. We'll write it down, and we'll come back to it.
Put it on
so then
illuminated text parchment because this is France in the 1500s or something.
Speaking of, what have we learned about French culture from Disney movies? Here's what I've learned. They're horny, bread, and souffle.
Yeah, they have souffle in this.
That's the new thing I learned about French culture from this movie.
Right.
Other than that, they're horny, bread.
Jimmy, when you lived in France, what was the greatest culture shock thing that you experienced? Because I would love to hear it.
Was it the horniness or was it the bread? Pick
horny baguettes and souffle. The culture shock for me was actually an inverse of our American stereotype that people are really friendly.
Oh, cool.
Especially if you try to speak French and they will work with you. They're friendly. I didn't experience any rude French people, except for when they came up to me in French at their park in Paris and asked me a question in French and I didn't speak French.
Oh,
they weren't real happy about that.
That's their bad, right?
But that's just, yeah. I mean, if I go to Orlando to try to go to a theme park and ask a question and the cast member doesn't understand me, I'd be pretty irritated.
But that's pretty cool, though. Like, people thought you looked French enough to walk up to you and be like, je voudrais...
Well, I had a uniform on with me.
Oh, I see.
I had a cast member name tag.
I see. At the park. You said the park, meaning capital park. P, not like...
No, Disneyland.
Rue de Avenue, which is a French street, I imagine, where there's a park.
Audrey,
yes,
Disney makes a lot of theme parks. There's Disneyland in California, Disney World in Florida, and
no way.
Yeah, Disneyland Paris or Euro Disneyland,
as it formerly known as.
Most of the Disneyland I've experienced is on YouTube.
Yeah, well, we're getting you ready.
Oh, my mom's calling me. Should I answer it? No. We have a. Yeah, I'll put her on speaker. We can cut this out.
Wait, I'm not gonna.
Hi, Mom.
Together, time is the time of year when turns over and spring is here. Wonderful season, and there's a good reason for this together time.
We could cut this out. Let's get back
Yeah.
to the podcast.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready. Okay. So Madeline is reluctant, but she goes up to the bell tower anyway. Now we cut to Quasimodo and the gargoyles. They're ringing the bell and polishing the bells, right? They're ringing and polishing.
Yeah.
Just
And now I'd like to take a
polishing
little
their
sidebar.
Mm.
The gargoyles are polishing the bell as he's ringing it, if you know what I mean. A little sidebar. A gargoyle versus a grotesque.
Oh, yes.
The difference between the gargoyles and grotesque is that the gargoyle is grotesque, but it has an additional purpose, and the grotesque is used to decorate the exterior of the building. The gargoyles are made to convey rainwater away from the sides of the buildings, and most commonly are situated on the roofs. That is the difference. So when we're calling them gargoyles, they're technically not gargoyles.
Another reason why cathedrals are so freaking cool. Also,
Yes. Gargoyles are grotesque, but not all grotesques are gargoyles.
flying buttresses.
Buttresses.
The coolest.
Which they talk about. Lindsay Ellis talks about it. It's the first use of flying buttresses. Is in the Notre Dame.
If you have a chance to go to the cathedral, I highly recommend. It's so cool.
It's being refurbished since part of the
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
I have also been places.
Good job. How's your flying buttress?
Oh, you know, COVID, it's a little heavier, a little sloppier, but you know.
Tell me about it. I've got 2 flying buttresses. Anyway, so Madeline arrives up in the tower and Quasimodo hides because he's ashamed of the way he looks. Jason Alexander shoves him out and he says, she's talking about bells, and he says, "Bells, you ding dong."
Oh, ding dong.
Yeah. See? Ding dong.
At what point in Jason Alexander's career do you think he was just like, yeah, I may as well do it?
I think he did this on his couch.
Oh, absolutely.
Just-
Absolutely.
Literally
He was
phoned
actually
it
at the gym.
in. Be safe like me, like this. So they flirt a little, and she sees the gargoyles move. So this is different. This intrigues Quasimodo, but he remains in the shadows. He thinks that because she could see the gargoyles move, that means she has imagination.
Yeah.
She asks him to reveal himself. He does, and she immediately runs away.
Yeah.
Quasimodo ashamedly goes to his little model of Paris, and he begins to carve a new figure, which is Madeline.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. I mean, a couple of strokes, if you will.
Oh my god. He's an accomplished
And he's made a little
accomplished whittler. He also,
He is an
if
accomplished
you'll
whittler.
note, put her in a shorter, skimpier dress than the one that he saw her
I noticed
the
that.
first time.
I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta be able to, you know, get some
Use
fantasy
your
out of it.
imagination.
You know, like it's. I mean,
Yeah, it's kind of more like a Tinkerbell
Yeah.
dress than the one she
by
was
the
wearing.
way, that was me being comically disgusting, and I think my tone is not like.
I was about to debate you on it. I was like, I was
Yeah,
going to
no.
say if he made her more, attractive, sassy, then why didn't he make himself like, buff macho man?
Well, that one we don't see that
That's a
one.
good point.
I'm sure that one. Honestly,
later.
that one has to exist.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, probably.
if you're whittling away and making your own little world, there's got to be one version that he doesn't show to anybody. It's just like, yeah, this is me.
I'm
picturing Spaceballs and Lord Helmet, who has his action figures, and he's making them like kiss and stuff.
Oh, your helmet
Oh,
is so
Lord Helmet.
big.
So
Like, there's probably like a dirty Esmeralda. Like, I mean, the
Or
guy's
like
he's-
Quasimodo gets on Second Life.
yeah. There's being single for long enough. And trust me, I know this to be true from my own life. Being single long enough does something to you.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So Quasimodo asks the gargoyles if they believe in miracles, like someone who might love him. And then he sings an ordinary.
Oh, he
miracle,
certainly does.
The proper subtitle
Yeah.
of this film.
How many takes do you think they had singing that song? I'm going to say 3 at the most.
Maybe you're being generous because Tom Hulce is not famously a really good singer, but this is bad. And it's a bad song.
It's basically, I feel like it's like they wrote it in an afternoon and he read it and he was like, are you kidding me with this? They're like, yeah, go.
All right, let's do it.
Time's
Do
a
it
wasting,
live.
Tom. You know you're not really Amadeus, dude. Just go.
And Amadeus is really famous for the singing.
Yeah.
I didn't really, just to break a little bit and talk about the first movie, I didn't like his vocals in the first movie. It was the way his vibrato sounds bothers me. And it's just true for across the board. Like when people have a really quick vibrato like that, it sounds very strange to me.
Amanda Seyfried is another example.
Oh,
Les Miserables. It's incredibly
I watched
fast.
that movie, but I don't remember it.
Or Sweeney Todd.
Was she in Sweeney Todd? Who was she?
She was Joanna.
No. Not Amanda Seyfried.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
Some other.
What was I thinking of? Into the Woods?
Maybe.
Oh yeah, that
I didn't. Yeah, it wasn't as big of a problem in Sweeney Todd for me.
No, I thought it was passable.
But in Hunchback 2,
that was not.
yeah, this song is pretty lackluster.
Oh, I'm thinking Mamma Mia. My bad.
Right, yeah. Or maybe the sequel, because there needs to be one. I think that, which by the way,
Mamma Mia.
by the way, that might be a movie for us to watch.
I'd be down.
In the course of this song, he goes from, there's no way I will ever find love and this person thinks I'm a monster, to, right, I'm gonna go kiss the girl.
Yeah, and it was Laverne saying, so they're like, go to the circus, have fun. And then one guy's like, what does one wear to a circus? And Quasi's like, nothing. And Jason Alexander says, ooh, daring, but a bit pushy for a first date.
Yeah.
Jason Alexander is the horny gargoyle.
Yeah.
Grotesque, I mean.
Because he's from France. So Laverne says, you can sit up here and hope for a miracle, or you can get out there and make
That's
one.
my freaking girl. Yeah, I liked that
I like
a
that
lot.
advice. Mm-hmm.
Isn't there a song about this? Like, getting out there?
Oh.
Out there.
Nice.
Meow, 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 meow.
That's where we see Belle in the streets. In the first one. Anyway, you're right. What do I wear? And Jason Alexander gets him all dolled up with a cape and a hat. And the Phoebus family does not approve of this. They don't approve.
Yeah, he may as well have a giant.
I just don't understand fashion.
He may as well have a giant goblet that says like
Fashion's
Playa in diamonds.
It's about confidence.
It is.
You know what? And
it is
taking risks and being brave.
Yeah. Like,
I think this is when we get to Act 2. Yeah. We cut to the circus. It's circus time, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Little Zephyr is thrilled that Phoebus is thrilled about the circus, but Phoebus is concerned because circus folk are dirty and travel around, like gypsies.
Oh boy.
Someone's sleeping on the couch
not
tonight.
happy about this. Yep.
Couches. What are those?
Well, they know about them because we know about them, just like Spain and Torah.
Right.
Then Phoebus is like, where's this Madeline of yours? So what do? We cut to Madeline.
There she is.
She tells Sarouche, you should have seen him. I don't want to do this anymore. And then, so it turns out that the reason she works for Sarouche is when she was 6 years old, she was starving and was caught stealing a few coins.
Yeah.
So rather than putting her in jail or workhouse, he took her in and took care of her like family. Who does this remind us of, guys?
Olive Garden? Because when you're there, you're like family?
Oh.
An
The
evil
Artful
person
Dodger.
who took this outcast in, treated her like family, but really is exploiting her. Frollo, guys. Frollo.
Oh, okay.
Frollo from the
Oh,
first
yeah.
movie.
See, I definitely know a lot about the first movie because I watched it very recently.
Yeah. He even looks like Frollo. But anyway, so his whole person, this guy is alive, right?
Yeah.
The world, when he's out in the world, he looks like a thin, made-up man, when in reality, he has a gut and he's bald.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's all
He's a
show,
freaking
man.
drag queen, and that's why I love him so much as a
Totally.
villain. Like, he's completely snatched. He wears
He's
a
obsessed with
corset. He's narcissistic. Like, all the things that I think a good villain might have, and he has them.
That's right. And in his little dressing room, the every picture on the wall is covered with pictures of himself, and there's a second version of it that is just mirrors, so he can look at himself.
Amazing.
He has a very good villain character. However, he gets ruined for me because, I love a good charlatan. However, he actually can do magic, which
evidently
is not like, that's dumb. That's dumb. Sorry, movie. That's dumb.
He can do magic, or he's just super familiar with tunnels.
Both.
I think the movie sells it. Yeah, this movie sells it as both because he can he's disappearing. He's making other things disappear. Don't worry, Jimmy. I'm not going to spoil anything. But it's like you don't build this perfect facade charlatan character, and then no, he is actually magic though.
Maybe he's a gopher.
Do you recall another movie in this series we've done where the villain actually performs magic?
Wait, hold on. I almost have it. Pocahontas. Pocahontas 2.
Pocahontas 2.
Oh,
Pocahontas 2,
yeah.
Radigan, or whatever his name is. He actually performs
That
magic.
guy. He had a cool villain song.
That he did. All right. So he tells her, he's like, all you have to do is go and look pretty, because that's what she's good at, and and be pretty for him, for Quasimodo, and he'll tell you everything you need to know. This guy's very vain, like we talked about. His room is now, we push a button, his room is now covered with mirrors. So Madeline has time to reflect. Now, bear with me.
Reflect.
And boy, does she reflect.
Yes.
She looks at herself in the mirror without saying a word, looking tormented for 18 solid seconds.
Oh, you timed it.
I'm so glad you did, because
counted.
this movie has a huge problem with transitions. It starts...
Oh my God. 18 seconds of Jennifer Love Hewitt animated version, feeling contemplating or trying to... I mean, I guess the show don't tell is what you're supposed to do in these
that's
things.
crazy because in so many ways this movie takes shortcuts, in so many ways. How it goes from Quasimodo doubting himself to being right, I'm gonna get out there, in the course of and it's not even that magic that musical songs do, where it's I'm sharing you can feel that is actually the passing of time. That amount of time is what passes. And he's just no, okay, I guess she loves me now. But then we have 18 damn seconds.
And just to put it into context, this is hand-drawn animation.
Oh, yeah.
And 24 images make up 1 second of film. So that's 432 individual pictures that were drawn.
They did the math.
Wait, is she moving through that?
A little bit, yeah. She's doubting herself. And
Barely.
Yeah.
Mostly the camera moves. The camera zooms in on her, so the animators can get away with not doing as many frames because they're just,
I did notice that in this movie, pan and scan is very, very used.
That's the word
That's
for
a good
it.
point.
Yeah.
So back at the circus, Cirque de Sarouche has begun. There are several tricks that Sarouche comes on stage to perform some magic. They bring out an elephant, and they call the elephant La Petite,
And by they,
which means
it's
small.
2 guys.
2 men. 2 guys carrying an elephant.
Impossible. How can they lift that much?
It's magic.
All right.
It seems that this is all a ruse, though, because while the audience is captivated by his illusions, his circus goons are robbing all of the onlookers. All the townsfolk are getting robbed while they're just
Which, by the way, his henchmen are wonderfully creepy. They have these little masks and stuff.
I wonder if they have a like if they have a rule between them, like, okay, we can only rob like 20% of this crowd or 5% of this crowd before people catch on and realize, oh, obviously it was because we all went here, because, you know, people talk between each other and like, no way, I got robbed there too. What the heck? Well,
they definitely have that conversation later, but they don't make those connections.
With Phoebus. No, they don't.
So then they've got a science to it, you know, that they must have picked certain people. And
yeah, this is obviously not their first rodeo.
I can't believe it.
So his first big trick is to make La Petite, the elephant, disappear before their very eyes. And he does, guys. The audience is thrilled. No one more than Zephyr. Zephyr, the little boy, Esmeralda's baby.
Haley Joel Osment.
He wants to join, Haley Joel wants to join the circus now. And Quasimodo's watching, and Madeline's on stage, and he is mesmerized by Madeline. Quasimodo loves and will always be there for Zephyr. Like they transition, like you're saying, Dan, quick transitions for the circus. Now Quasimodo and Zephyr are playing, and he's like, do you miss me? I don't know what that's about. And he's like, I will love you and I'll always be there for you.
And it's a song.
And they sing a song.
It's a song.
I'd stick with you.
So here's where I realized something that about an issue that I have generally with musicals, not with all musicals, but it's something that exists across all musicals as a reality. And it's that the number just has to not be bad. And it will...
Yeah.
People will people will just be like, okay, that was another song. So it kind of like these straight to video sequels. It's like the bar is just not be blatantly terrible, and people will be like, okay, I'll accept that.
They're just, most of them aren't complete songs,
right?
They are words put to music, maybe a minute and a half, but there's no. Like I said in the last movie, a musical, you speak the words when you can no longer get the words you're trying to convey. Right. You sing them, and it carries the plot forward.
Because the emotion's too great.
And then when you can't, the emotion's too great, so you have to carry the plot forward with music. And this is expositive.
Expository.
I
was yelling expletives while it was going.
But anyway, but it shows that this monster can love a child and the child can love the monster. And Madeline's watching this whole time and she sees this kind soul. Maybe he's not such a monster. In all the fun, Zephyr falls asleep on Quasimodo.
Falls in love.
This could have been the villain
She falls
song.
in love.
This could have been the villain song.
It could have.
But instead, they have to do a song about these two characters.
Right, Michael McKean doesn't
because
sing.
They can't do a love song between
he sings.
COVID, Quasimodo.
Love song.
They can't do a love song between Quasimodo and Madeline for some reason. Because they do that with Jasmine and Aladdin and Meg and Hercules, sort of.
Well, this is her chance to see the real him, where she's watching him and he can't see her.
Yeah, it just it feels it feels awkward to me.
But that is a good point. What if we were to take like the outward projection of like the words of this song and put it into the villain and Madeline? And it's like this weird diabolical, like super evil, like it's kind of like the mommy's always going to be there for you from the Lion King. It's a Girl Now movie.
Rapunzel.
Yeah.
That one too.
It sets a weird precedent that like your words don't always mean what you're saying, right. I suppose. And that for a Disney movie is a little that's pushing it, right?
Well, and this is the problem I ended up feeling for this movie is like the first one sets such a high bar in terms of like quality control, and for this one, I just feel like they're treating us like we're complete dum-dums because it's not living up to any of that. It's just
it wasn't terrible. This movie isn't terrible.
I think it is.
No, it's not.
For me, it is.
So there's a couple of redeeming things, and this is one of them. Madeline is now smitten, and perhaps in a very clever bit of writing, Quasimodo tells her how great she was up there, and she says she didn't do anything but stand there and look pretty. And Quasimodo points out the fact that she is there to make sure that people are watching what they want them to watch, and they don't see the trick, which is the subplot that's unfolding before us, because that's what she's doing in this movie. She's distracting Quasimodo so he's not seeing the real trick that's happening, which is somebody stealing.
So the writing is pretty solid.
I think the writing is solid, and I like the metaphor of the bell and Quasimodo. They do.
You are making me rethink my position on this, because last night when I watched it, I was kind of like,
don't worry.
I don't know. I was just feeling really jaded about the whole, like, there's a soulmate out there for you. So I kind of tuned out, and I was like, all right, I'm watching this for the show. And of course I have, emotional connections and things that I want to talk about and write about. But like, other than that, I'm seeing the gems inside of the bell.
But see, here's the thing: is
the undercarriages.
But here's the problem: is that she's actively refusing to do that thing,
which is what?
To distract him. Like she's not doing it.
Shh.
Well, that's what she's there to do. That's the point. Her
she's choosing not to, but people are complicated, and that's just the way it's happening.
But she legitimately fell for him, which means that now it's not that anymore.
It's still that, though. Whether or not she's doing it intentionally, she's still fulfilling that role.
Yeah. Oh.
Right.
They use this plot device pretty often in.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's the mistaken thing, like, no, I didn't really mean to, and I'm different now.
But I actually love
these movies are all Three's Company.
That's true, a little bit.
A triptych.
All right, so they flirt a little bit, and Quasimodo asks if she would like him to show her the city,
which is they have a beautiful first date, and they both do parkour.
Mm-hmm, they do.
And the town is very, very interested in Quasimodo's love life.
Mm-hmm.
Also, why is that guy making a souffle at like 8:00 at night?
Because it's France.
That's what they do in France.
Yeah.
All day.
That's what he does.
Oh, by the way, you asked me the question. Another surprise is that baguettes, obviously a famous thing. You will never find a baguette that tastes as good as any baguette in France. Like. It doesn't matter. Grocery store, side
Jimmy,
market.
have you been to Trader Joe's?
I want to eat a baguette.
But like just a sandwich du jambon is a baguette with ham and butter, and it's just freaking perfect. It's so good.
They have Jimmy, at Trader Joe's, they have a wrap that it's like a turkey dinner in a wrap. Do your fancy French people have that? Huh?
You're not going to believe this.
She pulls one up.
She's got one.
McDonald's.
What?
Oh.
Chicken.
Uh-huh. You had me at McDonald's.
It's gross.
Nuggets.
Oh. You know what?
They have those in
That's
France,
a good
too.
point. Fresh McDonald's chicken nuggets, there's nothing better. Or McDonald's French fries.
We've fallen into the classic
loving
trap, which is we record this episode around dinner time, so we're all like kind of hungry.
I'm not.
Except those of us who are about to.
I will
be Postmating McDonald's.
Wait a minute, you don't eat dinner before you go to bed, Jimmy? It's 10:30. Time for my steak Diane.
That's what we're doing. That's what we do now. Didn't you know that?
So you were the whole town is interested in his love life, including Sarouche, who is watching all of this flirtation, and he's hanging out with his team, and he collects all of their stealings. And now the townspeople are gathered in town, complaining to Phoebus about all their things being stolen. Phoebus vows to find the robbers and rides off. He thinks to himself, "How will I find them?" And then this happens.
Mm-hmm.
He says to himself, "Wait!" He's on his horse.
Mm-hmm.
Achilles. He says, "Wait a minute. The string of robberies starts the minute the circus comes to town. Coincidence? I think not. How many times have I ever been wrong?"
Yeah.
And then the horse whinnies a little bit and starts tapping his hoof.
That That is a good joke. That's a good joke.
Hilarious.
And he said, Achilles. That was a rhetorical
Oh
question.
my God. The best
I loved it. I
gag
thought that
in the
was great.
movie.
All right, so we cut to Clopin doing a puppet show. This is the same evening. He's acting out a festival d'amour while Quasi and Madeline watch.
And
they come to
they're out for a very long time.
It's
almost long enough if one were inclined to steal a bell to go ahead and just steal.
But he doesn't know where it is yet.
Know where it is.
Time
Because
flies when you're having fun.
Later in the movie, he's not even asking where it is. He's just, the whole plan is that she will distract him, like she will lure him away.
Well, Sarouche says that he needs to look pretty. She needs to look pretty, so he'll tell her everything he needs to know about where the bell is. That's the plot.
Yeah,
which he just shows her. He doesn't even like tell her about it. He just shows her.
He doesn't show her either. Sarouche figures it out.
Right.
She's not there.
Right.
Anyway, all the spoilers. So they go to a baker and they see souffles. They eat some souffle.
And it's raining and it's like thundering. It's a weird
raining.
kind of like incongruent sort of like happy. Do we get to the love song?
Yeah, so I'll get there in just a second. So they eat souffle. He lets her sniff rosemary.
Mm-hmm.
He takes her to a tall tower with really good acoustics and asks her to close her eyes and listen to Paris. He then opens a door where they see the city, including...
She hears a gunshot.
Sirens.
Just tons of bread being baked.
Marie, the baguettes, hurry up!
I must make another
but she wants to see more. She wants to see more, so they race across the rooftops.
Of garlic butter and escargot. Because that's French, right?
Killing snails. Yeah,
people because they're all horny.
So they do the parkour on the rooftops. And the gargoyles watch all of this, and while they watch, they sing. I wish I were making this up. They sing "Fa la la la."
Oh my God! So yeah, the first 30 seconds of the song or whatever, I was like, no, this is slow and not interesting. They got me in the first 30 seconds. I gotta tell you, because then it jazzes up into like a full on number.
It does jazz up.
Oh yeah,
and I got excited.
But one of the things that Jason Alexander says that something all the gargoyles and gar guys should know.
It's pretty cute. It's pretty cute.
It's kind of cute.
Goyle.
Yeah. But yeah, then it starts to rain. Everybody rejoices and they all dance in the rain. And then,
but it's kind of dark.
Yeah. If you're Jason Alexander, at what point do you tell your agent, like, you know what, just you don't need to send me these anymore?
No, he 100% wrote that line. He wrote that
I don't
line.
think he did.
Gargoyles and
here's the thing. I don't think he's actually that person. I think that he's...
No.
I think that he's funny, and I think that he's, a good comic actor and everything, but I think that, like, at some point he's just like, okay, I'll play this character in this show, and then it gets popular, and it's like, okay, well, I've been typecast, and then 10 years later, you're, doing a voice for the actual toy in the Happy Meal. And it's like, it's like, and it doesn't strike me as like a money grubbing thing. It strikes me as like a genuine, like just nice thing. But at some point it's just like, can I stop being that guy? Like, I want to go back to just being a person.
Can he? But can he though?
Well, he has. He's dead now.
I mean,
wait, no, he's not. He's not.
Wait,
he's fine.
Wow,
he's right here.
Yeah, starting rumors over here.
All right. So what happens is they go to the cathedral. Now it's raining. They go out of the rain. She dries off, and the gargoyles ask, "What's the plan?" And then she comes out from drying off and sees La Fidèle, which means the faithful one. It's the bell.
As we all know, who's the faithful one? Wink, wink.
So they say about the bell, she's beautiful, But as a metaphor for Quasimodo, she's more beautiful on the inside. They look inside the bell, and she sees her reflection. And back to the magic of the bell. What does she see?
Is the girl I see staring there back at me?
Mm-hmm. She sees Pocahontas in her reflection. And then a bunch of leaves blow around. No, my point is she sees what's inside and she sees Sarouche.
Yeah.
That's her reflection. And it's the magic of the bell. So they warm by the fire and she asks Quasimodo if he really thinks that there is more to her than what we see. Can she offer the world more? And he says he does.
That's pretty cool. That's beautiful.
Well,
and he says,
touching.
What would you say to that? Like, no, I think it's pretty much face value there.
No, you kind of just hot.
Let's bang.
No. No.
You want to?
Oh, Jesus.
No, guys, no. No. Oh, no.
There's no way any remnant of that can stay in.
He says he's not much to look at. She says he is unlike anyone she's ever met and that he sees the world better than anyone she's ever met. He gives her the doll that he carved of her. And he says, now you can always see yourself through my eyes.
You can also believe that you're Tinkerbell.
She cries. That's true. She cries. She excuses herself. But before she does, she kisses Quasimodo on the forehead.
She farts.
What a super... I was going to say, it was just a really tender scene.
It was. And here's what I loved is that he's like shocked. He's got this look on his face. And then the gargoyles come around him and he just like passes out face first. It was funny.
Like, it's the end of literally the most perfect date I could ever imagine, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, we cut to the next day, the Festival d'Amour, where we see Esmeralda dancing on stage and Zephyr's juggling. Quasimodo interrupts from backstage. He needs her help. He needs Esmeralda's help. He's lovesick, guys. Esmeralda can't help on this one. He has to find out for himself. He has to tell her how he feels.
Terrifying.
Now, right. So Phoebus comes in to announce that the circus people are responsible for all the theft. Zephyr loves the circus and wants to join. And Phoebus says, absolutely not. Those people. And then Esmeralda's like, those people? She's mad. How can you lump people together? Just like all gypsies aren't criminals, all circus people aren't either. He assumes that Madeline is just using Quasimodo to get something else. Because why not, right? And then everybody's mad at Phoebus. Everybody storms off.
He didn't handle it.
He's profiling.
Tactfully.
He's the one being oppressed.
Oh, wow. Hot take.
Frankly, it's racist against him.
Okay. Dan's getting canceled. We cut to Madeline. She's practicing her tightrope again. She's not great at tightrope.
Slacklining, more like. She's a super millennial. Okay, so we have Zephyr, which is spelled with a Z, and there's like a PH and a Y.
Right.
And there's Madeline, which is spelled with a Y and an L and an E. And she slacklines. Like 100% millennial.
They like to talk about pork rinds and
they do parkour. I don't know. This is just like super
avocado
cool
toast,
and modern.
is that still a thing?
I wonder if they have avocado toast in France. Is it a trend there?
Oh, probably. I think it probably started there and we just adopted it.
Jimmy loves the French.
Doubtful.
Jimmy and his love of
So
the
anyway,
French.
Madeline's on her tightrope, not succeeding. And Sarouche wants to know if she found out where the bell is. She says she doesn't want anything more to do with
She's feeling
this theft.
confident, and I love that.
Yep. And Quasimodo sees something in her that Sarouche doesn't, she says. Sarouche then threatens to hurt Quasimodo if she won't help him. If you don't want him to die, you need to distract him while Sarouche and his men steal the bell.
Right. So again,
Classic
it's not about where is the bell, because she's not going to tell him. It's, well, if you're not going to tell me, then you need to distract him, while I go get the
I'll
bell.
figure it out. It's in the bell tower somewhere. Yeah, you're right.
They were on that like 5-day long date.
You're right. That's right. You're right. Originally, the point was find out what it is, where it is, so I can steal it. But now the point is distract him so I can go get it.
Because it's in that building towards the top.
That's true. Where all the bells are.
Yeah.
Look for the fancy bell.
So there was a nice animation here. She's dejected. She's on the ground because she fell off the tightrope. And she's holding her doll, right? She's holding it out to see herself the way Quasi sees her. And he's dejected. On the other side, there's a mirror shot of him doing the same thing on the ground.
Dissolve.
Looking at his doll. It was a nice dissolve. But that was nice. So then we cut to Phoebus, who's now accusing Sarouche of theft in his little mirror portrait cave. And he denies it at first, but then he gets a brilliant idea and says, oh, you're right. But it was Madeline who was the culprit. She was doing it. She's been a thief since she's 6 years old.
Queen.
So now, so he tells Phoebus to go out and find her. She's out with Quasimodo somewhere, so go find her. Now he can steal the bell, and the girl gets the blame, and Phoebus and everybody will be distracted.
Do you blame him? He's like pretty quick thinking.
He's a mastermind, But now it's a good idea. So anyway, Comedy of Errors, Act 3.
It's a better idea than his original plan.
That's true. Go find out where it is.
He's adaptive.
Just look pretty.
He knows how to work his angles. He uses tapes to give himself a facelift. He wears a corset. He has a hairpiece.
Corset. Hairpiece.
Why wouldn't you? He plays with his identity in such a cool way. I am into this villain, except for he doesn't have a villain song. I know I've mentioned it before.
That's true. Well, by the way, best villain song of any Disney movie is Frollo's villain song.
For real.
I agree.
Hellfire.
I agree.
Hellfire.
I am absolutely watching that movie when we're done here.
Totally. I will be asleep.
Good night.
Cut
in advance.
Cut to the street where Madeline finds Quasimodo and he wants to go for a walk. Or she wants to go for a walk. Zephyr sees Sarouche, who's with his henchmen going to the cathedral, and he's like, I want to join the circus. And then Sarouche just like signs one of his juggling balls. And then Zephyr's like, wait. I want to join the circus. He goes after him. And then Sarouche and his men are in they're now in the bell tower where they find La Fidèle like immediately. And in more metaphor news, he sees the bell, which just on the outside is a normal bell. He's like, look at this ugly
What the heck?
But then when he sees what's inside, it's beautiful.
Which relates to his character. How?
And he wants to
Quasimodo.
He wants to consume it. He doesn't appreciate it for its beauty alone.
Exactly.
He just wants to take
what's
and
inside.
Oh, okay.
Capitalize on
it.
Thank
He's
you.
a good villain.
Back. Yes,
I agree.
So
He's
back
a good
in the
villain.
streets, Quasimodo, back in the streets, asks Madeline to go to the festival, but she's so conflicted because she's like, she doesn't want to be a part of this thing, but she knows it's happening and she feels bad. She wants to tell him she's not the person he thinks she is. She's not going to the festival.
Damn.
Yep. And then we go back to the tower where Sarouche steals the bell by doing a spell. Like he magics the thing out.
But we know it's hokey because his two henchmen roll their eyes.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
The gargoyles then ring the bell to alert Quasimodo. The bell's ringing. He's not there. Something's going on, right? Because he's the bell ringer. And then Phoebus figures out it was Sarouche all along and closes off the city. Quasimodo realizes that Madeline was a part of the plan and runs off in tears.
By the way, this entire sequence feels like 5 minutes, and not like in a good way.
I think the whole thing, the whole third act is like...
no, I didn't think there was a problem with the pacing here. The pacing issues were more in the front end of the movie for me.
Yeah, this just went real fast because everything I'm saying is all like just happened within minutes. So, because now he thinks that she never really cared about him. It's just this whole Comedy of Errors we've dealt with, this whole Three's Company thing.
Triptych.
But Zephyr has run after Sarouche and his men, but the city's locked down, but the circus has gone. They're now down in the catacombs. Nobody thought about the catacombs. They closed off the city, but they're underground. But they're about to get away when it's revealed that Zephyr and Jolly, the goat, are stowed away on the boat that's carrying this giant, massive bell, Sarouche and his 2 henchmen.
Yeah, that they carried it down.
The evergreen.
Right.
Don't get it stuck in the Panama Canal.
That's right. That's right. That was the Suez.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I was trying to make another. I'm pandering again.
But so through all the comedy of errors, they arrested Madeline because she's all part of it, right? They think she
has a good alibi, though. She was there with Quasi. Like,
right.
She couldn't have physically stolen
That's right.
the bell.
But Sarouche told Phoebus that she's the one stealing everything, so she got arrested.
Implicated. An accomplice.
Right. So we're back in the prison. Madeline in the jail cell tells them that Sarouche must have found an underground tunnel, like how they do the disappearing elephant trick. There's always an underground tunnel. But Phoebus thinks she's telling them what Sarouche wants her to say. But Esmeralda reminds him that he trusted her and perhaps she should trust Madeline.
Esmeralda's on she's flipping sides like a pancake on a griddle.
Well, I think she relates to this because, the circus people in this movie are to this movie what the gypsies were to the last movie, and not all gypsies are evil, thieving witches. Esmeralda proved that.
Right.
So Madeline is the Esmeralda of this movie.
Esmeralda's entire purpose in this movie is basically to be person who knows stuff about love and person who knows stuff about being othered.
Yeah, I think probably the latter more than the first, right?
And person whose skin tone isn't consistent.
That's true. Also,
just because of the animation being poor.
Never mind. I won't say that.
What were you gonna say?
Nothing.
Were you gonna say something?
Her body figure adjusts.
Does it?
Things get larger.
Oh, really? I didn't notice.
Yes.
Her cup size?
They're definitely larger than in the first film. Yeah, cup size is bigger in this movie.
Oh, la la.
Not that I noticed things like that. Ooh, la la. Oh, my God. So the crew makes their way to the catacombs, and they immediately catch up with Sarouche. He's surrounded by the men, by Phoebus's men. But he has Zephyr hostage.
Damn.
So either Sarouche kills the boy or Phoebus lets
Here's a guy
go.
who sees an opportunity and makes the most of it. Farouche.
Yeah, he wants his belt.
Sarouche, he saw this little kid. He could have tossed him away, just been like, get off my boat. But no, the kid was like, my dad's the police captain. And he was just like, you don't say. Dang, I just got,
I don't care.
This situation just got better for me. Smart guy.
Almost done. So Madeline,
are you telling us
still
or
in
yourself?
Handcuffs? Madeline, who's still in handcuffs because Phoebus let her come, but as a prisoner because she may know something. She says he will hurt the boy. Like, she knows that he's not lying, and begs Quasimodo to let her free, but Quasimodo doesn't trust her yet. So Phoebus has no choice. He raises the gates so that Sarouche can escape.
That scene
but
where
Madeline,
Quasi angrily climbs the stairs after he realizes that Madeline was using him, and then crumples and starts crying. That actually was pretty tragic. That tugged at my heartstrings. That was like 5 minutes ago in the movie. Yeah. I just wanted to mention.
No, it's good. It was a good moment, and he was emotionally really broken by it. Because he's like, finally, there's a person who sees me. Doesn't matter what I look like. We get each other, and it turns out she was, because he's been told his whole life that nobody could ever love him because of the way he looked.
Right.
Even Phoebus said it. Like, even Phoebus is like, well, she must be using you because why else, would she be nice to you? So this is what he's been conditioned to believe. So in the first opportunity of doubt, he's going to buy it. Like, there's no way that she would really love me.
Yeah, it's a shame that no one can say, like, look, I know how this looks, but here's what's going on. I refuse to be a part of this from the very beginning. And we met, and I saw, basically, she's not wrong here. Madeline is not wrong
not
at all. So there's no reason why she can't just say like, look, this is super suspect. I get it. I know why you're, but like, I do, like, I saw you with that kid and I was like, this guy's awesome. Let's get away from this crap. Like, just let him have the belt. I don't even care. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I'm in this for you because you're awesome.
It's the attachment theory thing, like, or not attachment theory, but like your love languages. Like, if your love language is not words of affirmation, where it's saying, I love you, don't believe what this looks like, I'm here for you, blah, 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 then you'll never just take that for face value, because that's just not the way you see and experience love. Whereas like actions or acts of service or blah, 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 you know, like her doing that whatever thing for him, you know, like being there and spending time, quality time, like that was speaking more volumes than her actual words.
Yeah, and I think, Dan, I think part of this is back to kind of your thing that I'm realizing I get really frustrated about. It's like, if I just said this one thing, it would resolve this entire conflict, right? And I think she tried, to be fair.
Right.
I think she did a good job at saying, hey, listen, you're really special and you make me feel special. And she tried to tell him about the whole plot thing, but she felt there would be consequences, because if he would die basically if, anyway, she played the conflict pretty well. But anyway, so she convinces Quasimodo at this point to let her go. He unties her. They run outside to create a tightrope.
Yeah.
Outside, right?
Yeah.
Now she's failed at tightrope the whole movie.
It can never work. It needs to be on two solid, immovable anchors, not one person.
She's not a skilled tightropist. Yeah.
So anyway, but Phoebus has opened the gates, and the boat, the bell, and the boy are all free from the city. They start floating outside of the gates. Yep. Outside, they've set up their tightrope.
Let's just call it Chekhov's tightrope.
Chekhov's tightrope. Madeline begins her graceful trick. She grabs Zephyr, and the guards attack, and they are put in prison. And what's his name? Sarouche says to her, "What are you doing here?" And she says, "Standing here, looking."
Yes,
take that.
That was a pretty great moment.
They all celebrate at the Festival d'Amour. Quasi rings the bell as couples all protest their love.
I bet he has bad hearing damage from those bells.
I bet he does. I bet he does.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. But I love Esmeralda. I love Phoebus. It's cute. And then there's this weird subplot with Jason Alexander and the goat. Like, I don't understand that whole thing. There's a romantic... He's like lusting after the goat.
Let's not say more about that. I want people to just kind of believe what they want to believe. It gets wild. That's all I'm going to say.
There's some licking, and he gets hard.
Yeah.
It's bad.
He turns to stone.
Yeah, I know. I got it. I watched the movie.
At the top of the cathedral, Madeline presents Quasimodo with a rose, and they kiss. They shout they love each other, and they all live happily ever after the end.
May we. Bon appetit.
Souffle.
Rue d'Avenue. Champs-Élysées.
Rue d'Avenue.
Bonjour.
Yeah, I hate this movie.
Dan! Oh, good. Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu. All right, so before we get into the power rankings,
that's my cat. I don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah,
she just ripped up the carpet a little bit. Your episode is over.
So you didn't like it. I like this movie. I have fewer notes in this movie because I was enjoying watching it more than I have the others. I gave you the backstory as to why I wanted to know where these characters were going to go. It played all the tropes, that nothing new happened in this, but they really captured metaphor really well. And they captured a little bit more about what makes a person. I think they did a good job there. They had some good writing, like we talked about. So I believe this may be my favorite.
What?
Your favorite?
I have some bias.
Right.
I want
so
sure.
okay.
So,
I don't know if you can. That's.
I enjoyed it. It wasn't the worst Disney sequel. I would not put it at the very top, though.
The reason I have fewer notes is there were fewer times like, oh, come on. And I had to write it down. But again, I had bias. But before we get into that, we're going to have an evening in.
Let me find. I'll find something really quick. Just keep going. Buy me time.
But but the closing credits is a song, I'm Gonna Love You, subtitle Madeline's song, sung by Madeline herself, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Oh, listen to that.
But tonight, we are going to enjoy Kronenbourg 1864 is the most sold French beer in the world and the market leader for high-end premium beers. It was named after the year the Hat family, the founders of Kronenbourg, first started commercial brewing. Kronenbourg is the 5th oldest beer brand in the world that still exists today. Its golden hues and delicate bitterness come from selecting the best hops. The Strisselsplat is the unique know-how of Kronenbourg's master brewers for over 300 years. Strisselspalt
Bless you.
is also named the caviar of hops by the expert master brewers around the world for its low bitterness and aromatic qualities. Its specific soil and culture technique requirements makes it rare and quite unique to this Alsace region and Kronenbourg recipes. Also, Kronenbourg was the first beer I ever got drunk on.
Damn.
I was 18 years old, living at Disneyland Paris, and it was a California themed event. It was California Dreamin' was the event. And we were brought in because we looked at
Isn't that the name of a beer?
It's the name of a lot of things.
I guess so. You're
Everything's named after beers. So California Dreamin', and there was a band. There was a family band that were like a Beach Boy cover band kind of thing, and it was a bunch of dudes, and they had a sister, and the sister looked like Gwen Stefani.
Huh?
And yeah, and she was really cute. And I had a roommate at Disneyland Paris. So they were the band for this California event. We were basically guest control. And she was staying at the Disneyland Hotel, and I was staying at, some random apartment. Anyway, I thought she was super cute. And I had a roommate who was quite literally an underwear model, and I was not.
Male underwear model? Okay.
Yes, he was a male and an underwear model. He was beefy, but she thought I was cute, and we went out and we got drunk on Kronenbourg, and I stayed in her hotel room with her. Nothing happened.
Scandalo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but yeah, that was Kronenbourg's 1864.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
1664, sorry.
I didn't think they drink anything other but wine in France.
It's actually my favorite Pilsner style lager, whatever.
Where can I find it in the US?
Good. I think you can find it at most liquor stores.
If you go to Trader
Kronenbourg,
Joe's, you can get.
No, I'm not a Trader Joe's.
Everything that you possibly want.
I'm not into that. Trader Joe's is way overhyped. Come at me, bro.
I don't know. I'll just play some.
All right, what are we eating, Audrey?
All right, here's what. Get ready. I hope your mouth is watering.
Is that a wrap with turkey and stuffing?
No. Just fasten your seatbelts, fellas. We're having. Oh, it's gonna be so good. You're gonna love it. Hyping it up. Green, because Madeline and Quasi both wear green. You're having green bell peppers.
Ooh.
Get it? Because bell.
I like it. The bell. Yeah.
And also,
are they roasted?
No, they're just fresh green. You're going to slice them up. You could probably dip them in some hummus or like, that poppy seed dressing.
Yeah.
Yes. I like that.
But green bell peppers are my least favorite pepper. I'm just going to put it out there. It's not the best pepper. Like if you could choose a red bell pepper over a green, you would, but not this time. You're having green. And that's the final word.
That's good. I like it.
Bon appetit.
What are we listening to?
I got it.
Oh, merci.
Hold on. It's loading. I put a lot of thought into this. As you know, I like to really take a lot of time with these things.
I dare you to stick a churro in your butthole.
Wrong one.
Chicken?
Oh, jeez. Asher woke up. Oh, no.
Oh, my God. My 11-year-old boyfriend.
Do you live in Canada?
Here's what we're listening to because it's the first thing I found.
I freaking love that song.
Hold on. This is Nico doing the Star Wars. Let's say he's French. Why not? The connection is that someone rang a bell in the background of the song. So someone rang a bell. They said, "Ding, ding, ding! Time to record this terrible song." And they all came, and this is not at all just the first thing I saw when I opened up my production music folder.
You can ring my bell. Ring my bell. Ding, ding. Ring a ling.
You know, there is a Star Wars podcast on this network.
Oh, Banter, Beskar, and Banter.
And
I bet they play this.
This needs to be their theme song. Yeah. Sorry, I'll try harder next
I
time.
love disco.
In the interest of me going night-nights, Aladdin and the King of Thieves is currently ranked number 1. King of Thieves or Hunchback 2?
King of Thieves.
Lion King 2 or Hunchback 2?
I'm going to meet you both at the end of this because I got some things to say.
How did we put Lion King 2 so high up?
I don't know.
Well,
Pocahontas
remember the
2,
other movies.
I've blocked them
Pocahontas
from my memory.
2 or Hunchback 2? Pocahontas 2 or
Hunchback
Hunchback
2.
2? Exactly.
Pocahontas too.
Wow, yeah, I guess it's a
over-
high score. It is pretty well written.
Well, but you still have we have
hold
on. Pooh's Grand
I gotta
Adventure
say things. I need to
Goofy
say
2.
things about this. And knowing what you know about me, this won't be necessarily a surprise. I think my reaction to this movie also comes out of appreciation and love for the original, but it so fails to live up to what I love about the original one. It's such.
It's nothing to do with the original.
That's on you. Your expectations were too great.
That's fine, but it's like it feels like a betrayal because the original is. It's absolutely a hiring of the standard because honestly, and if think about when the original came out, when they announced that they were going to make that movie, none of us would have been surprised at the time if there was legitimately a song where he's like, "I got a hunch it's going to be a great day," because that's just how the company was at that time.
You're going to watch a movie now.
Yeah. And the fact that
that's also in the Lindsay Ellis video. She references at the same time or similar time the TV show The Critic.
Yeah.
With they pitched a Hunchback musical, and I've got a hunch.
Yeah. Which and I remember at the time even making that joke legitimately outside of The Critic, thinking, and this isn't me saying that that's how original I am. I'm not. It's just that joke was so there for us to take because it would not have been surprising.
No, that's true. Just like him falling in love with a blonde girl.
So the fact that they stayed so far away from that, the characters don't die or whatever, but like there's such. The original movie is so well done and so well handled, and everything about it is so artful, and like it's a goddamn masterpiece.
Artful is
God
the
bless
perfect
the outcast.
word.
God save the outcast.
All of it is just so. I mean, the gargoyles, okay, whatever, but it's like they're there for the kids. But you take out the gargoyles, and it's a perfect movie. And I'm fine putting the gargoyles in there and keeping it and going like, I get why the gargoyles are there.
Okay,
so
here's the next level when they make the live action remake of Hunchback Notre Dame, because we know they will. How are they going to mess it up? They're gonna
add a bunch of shit.
Yeah. So, but just to finish the thought, this actually goes below Bell's for me.
wow.
Because
Wow.
it takes this thing that is such a high standard and so well done. The original movie could have been a pile of crap, and people would have been like, "Well, yeah, that's just what Disney's doing now."
Mm.
And this has none of that left in it. It's just, it's a movie about some characters, you know.
So I appreciate that, but would you
I
rather
would.
watch
I
Bell's
would.
Magical World?
Because
Whoa.
at
Impossible.
least while I'm watching it,
No.
I can identify it. It doesn't feel like a betrayal. It's just like, oh, this is just a cheap pile of garbage because that's just what this is. And also, I don't really have a strong connection to Beauty and the Beast at all. Like I've seen the movie. I don't really. It's like whatever. I don't really care.
This
it's
is all
fine.
very hard to
it's a
swallow.
Good movie.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I get the appreciation for it, but I've never once watched Beauty and the Beast and gone, yes, this speaks to me. This is a beautiful piece of art. Hunchback does, and this movie is a steaming pile of garbage.
Wow.
All right. So
Dan, we're kicking you off the podcast.
Perhaps we're going to override, but perhaps the musical selection tonight should be arguably one of the most perfect suites of music in a movie musical, which is Heaven's Light, Hellfire.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we listen to. And I will argue to me, the only other more perfect musical suite is the end of the first act of Sweeney Todd.
I'll take your word for it. It's that sounds accurate. I'm not, you know me in musicals, like I'm aware of them, but I don't listen to them recreationally.
Just as a contrast in going in, his arm is complete again. He finds his razors and he vows to kill everyone. And then we transition to Mrs. Lovett talking about baking people into pies, which is a very cheery, happy song. Incredibly morbid, but just such a perfect balance of each other. Same with Heaven's Light and Hellfire. But
I'm a little out of my element here. I'll take your
That's
word
fine.
for it.
I'm just really good at. I've talked to people who know about musicals enough to know just go like, oh yeah, that mm-hmm.
If you'll indulge me, you don't have to, but the last three songs in the first act of Sweeney Todd, it's just one transition after the other. It's Pretty Women into
that song.
Those three songs are perfect, and it's such an incredible arc.
That sounds right.
Anyway.
I'm okay indulging you because I just ate a very satisfying meal of green bell peppers. So I have room for dessert.
Right.
I guess for me it's like if you take, and I promise I want to wrap up too, but like it's like if you take that Sweeney Todd thing and you say we're gonna make Sweeney Todd 2 and he's opening up Supercuts.
I get it.
Oh,
I get it. I get where you stand with it.
Oh no, I don't even want to consider this, but my mind's already like, oh yeah, here's how it's gonna play out.
All right, so I think we agree to disagree on this.
I figured that would be the case,
later.
and that's fine.
But yeah, so when I said I had fewer notes, you thought it was because I thought the movie was crap. I have fewer notes because I like the movie.
And honestly, a lot of this comes from that feeling from the very beginning of these movies are blending together for me. And
well, they're repeating the same tropes.
And I think this is turning into an endurance challenge for me, which I accept, but that means that like I'm probably just there's a good chance I'm going to start really hating these movies.
We just have Dan. We got to take it one movie at a time.
I know.
You can do it. I can do it.
Yeah.
There's
look.
So,
me snapping and being upset about things is apparently very entertaining for people, and I don't mind it. I enjoy it, so that's fine.
So this is roughly 14 minutes of your life. It's Pretty Women, Epiphany, A Little Priest. Perfect musical suite. Sweeney Todd.
All right.
Okay. I invite you to. So first of all, I want to talk about before we leave. I want to talk about Concierge. It is a Disney or theme park travel company. They will help you book your travel needs. Audrey, if you ever decide you want to go to Disneyland,
I get closer and closer.
If you call
every day.
Concierge, they'll book it, everything for you. They'll take care of everything for you. They'll tell you what to do. They'll ask you questions, figure out how to book your trip. If you're like Dan, you're just going to Disneyland and you just want to buy tickets, do it with them. And then that helps support this show so we can keep the lights on, as they say. But and truth be told, I might be a concierge.
What?
I have a meeting with the owner of the company tomorrow, and because I booked a trip for a friend of mine and I had so much fun doing it, and I told Eric about it, and I may very well be the person that answers the phone when you call concierge, which is 856 our ears. Anything you want, just do a favor, give it a shot.
Only if you promise to do it from the gym.
Oh yes.
And if you do get Jimmy when you call, ask him why Selena Gomez isn't there. To show that you listen to the show, the podcast.
Oh,
that's a deep cut.
Selena Gomez.
Listen to our other shows. It's Supreme Resort, which is a delightful show about the difference between Disneyland and Disney World. Ears Up podcast, Ears Up In Depth, where they go into news, banter, Beskar and Bantha Milk, where you're now listening to their theme song. Contact us at Jimmy at earsup-podcast.com, Dan at earsup-podcast.com. Tell us how you feel about this show. We've had some good reviews so far, but we'd like more. If you like what you're listening to, just click rate on the little app you're using and write a little note. Just say what you love. Audrey's awesome.
No,
she's a delight. She's funny. She's a millennial.
Asher is cool and real.
That I don't understand. Asher is cool and real. If you put that in the notes. Also, listen to Spectro Radio. A lot of Epcot 50th anniversary stuff going on right now. So we're glad you listened. And until next time.
Oh, yeah. Be kind and rewind.
I slapped my mic right before we started. I don't know if I did that. It's bonked.
All right, and scene.
Oh my God.
Fresh baked.